In a dark, dark place, there was a dark, dark house. And in that dark, dark house, there was a dark, dark secret. And in that dark, dark secret, there was dark, dark trauma. And in that dark, dark trauma, there was dark, dark anxiety. And inside that anxiety was nothing but fear. Hello there. I'm just literally out the back of mine letting Eleanor have a little wee and a poo. I've got another network coming in because I've called somebody and they'll all pop on now. This is what does my head in, right? I live up there in that flat up there, yeah? And it's very peaceful here. It's very quiet. You hear the traffic, you hear the trains, you occasionally hear the police car, an ambulance, a fire engine. And people just get on with their own business here. It's a lot of older people residents. It's a lot of startups, a lot of single mums where partners go off and work and not necessarily on the script. And then there are married families that have been here for quite a few years. Some people have lived in these houses 20, 30 years. And it's a very, very, very peaceful place. But for me, that's the back of my house. And I am so used to, take the house that I grew up in when I was a kid, was a council house that my dad bought and renovated himself, and we had a garden with only Titch next door for me to talk to over the garden fence and to go around to my next door neighbours to play with, obviously, Carla and Carrie Ann. And then, obviously, I went to my nan's, and my nan had a garden, and my granddad and nan had a garden. My granddad, on my dad's side, had lots of birds in his garden, had a big aviary. And then, of course, I've lived in flats around Germany. I've been in aunties' gardens. And then, obviously, when I was 13, I lived with lots and lots and lots of land. My best friend was a calf, as you know, and my mum's there was now ex-husband's ex-wife had the horses still there when I was there. I was introduced to horses a long time ago. I'm a wild horse rider, by the way. I was one of them kids that lived and raised in Headley Down, and we used to fuck off into the commons, and I used to ride the wild horses. I'm renowned for it. I've got a bite mark on my left boob where I was bit by a wild horse and then scooped me and put me back up. And then, as you know, my dad introduced me to his new girlfriend after he separated from my ex-stepmom, who he was married to. And my dad took me horse riding, and then secondly took me, and then obviously my lead walker changed over and I got to know her. And then my dad said, we're going for a meal with your walker today. How do you feel about this? And then obviously over the meal explained that this was my dad's new girlfriend. And I didn't want to ride again because my dad hadn't enabled me to ride. He had set me up to meet his girlfriend, who's now his wife. And then obviously when my mum met Trevor, who had quite a few acres of land, he was the one that rented out the garages to the lookalikes of Princess Diana and Prince Philip's, who used to go in and do the second of them when they were going off and out, and did the import and exporting of cars, who's also my sister, who's given birth recently. Congratulations to my sister. And my family's now learning how you can keep in contact with other members of family who leave the area through the internet, which you've been able to do for a very, very, very long time. It's just that it's taken for lockdown for people to mix business with being online, people to learn to remote, people to be open. Because don't forget, a lot of people are very scared of the internet. And there's been people that, even though the internet has existed for many years now, so like 30 years it's been like properly active. I remember my first Hotmail email, my first MSN, Bitcoin, everything's been around, but people, especially the working class, were like, no. A lot of people have been, they'll share your data and things like that. So you've got two sides of the coin here, where you've got people who are fearful of the internet and people who utilize the internet. Then you've obviously got people who are scared of the fact that it's heading into an AI world, or is into an AI world. Clearly AI is in. And then you've got humanoids, robots and all of that attached to it. And then obviously you've got the machines that are going to be working. We've had machines for years. We've had CT scans. We've had robotic machines working in factories for years. We've had machines putting on parts of cars for years. We've had robot arms working for years. We've had robots working as bomb disposal teams for years. They've been putting robots out into minefields for years since Princess Diana started speaking out about the minefields, and they've sent in robots to do this. But for me, one thing that I like at this time of night, when you've just had your evening meal, is going and sitting in the conservatory. And it was something that I always did with my mum at the end of the night. And my mum always sat in the conservatory to read her book and to finish off her work and things. And I'd go and sit with my mum. As I got older, I'd go and sit and have a glass of wine and a fag with my mum, do you know what I mean? And just sit in the conservatory. And I've always loved the sound of the rain on a conservatory, sound of the rain on a caravan. I love camping just as much as I love 5-star hotels, and I love being out on the streets just as much as I love climbing mountains. Do you know what I mean? So I can wear a ball gown and I can not shower for nearly 2 freaking weeks, to the point that my ass is starting to piss me off. I need to shower. Self-care, honey, self-care. So, you know, but tomorrow is the Holocaust Day. We're at the D-Day Museum tomorrow. I'm going to be taking some of you live with me on some of it. Obviously, the MPs and the mayors and all of that are going to be there, so I'll be a little bit campaigny. All depends when Dean comes with me. But then something happened with Dean today that made Dean another suspect yet again in the website, because me and Dean had a conversation the other day about when I lived in Northern Ireland, worked for Ann Summers, and about this lad that was the 4th person, and the big news that had been arrested. And obviously I'd been stuck in this house ringing Graham, and then obviously the army wanting my diaries and stuff. So then this website then makes a comment about me so-called being something, and I could get Donald Trump's telephone number and ring him directly. I mean, for fuck's sake, come on guys, do you guys even know what a conference, a seminar, a workshop and the fucking event is? All the stickers suck. I shouldn't say that. It's very offensive. I shouldn't say that. But what I'm actually understanding is that I'm up against people like, I've got TikTok trolls going on, but it's the same accounts that we've blocked here on Facebook. It's just that I've moved over to TikTok, and of course I've got people over there that have followed on over here, because people out there have gone, oh, you ain't Kellie Carlson, you ain't Kellie Carlson, Kellie Carlson's on TikTok, you know she's on TikTok. So of course the same accounts have come out. But also the other day I did a TikTok and I had a mask on, so of course I've got all the people coming out attacking me as wokes now, because apparently I'm vaccinated, apparently I wear a mask and all of this sort of stuff. So do you know what? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're damned if you're quiet, you're damned if you're loud, you're damned if you're fat, you're damned if you're thin, you're damned if you're healthy, you're damned if you're unhealthy, you're damned if you're on benefits, you're damned if you work 18 hours a week, you're damned if you work 80 hours a week. You know, whether you're Elon Musk, you're going to get a troll. Whether you're Belinda fucking McKenzie, you're going to get a troll. Whether you're Boris Johnson, you're going to get a fucking troll. Whether you're the Queen of fucking Sheba, you're going to get a troll. It doesn't matter. And it's like, you know, this universe is wonderful. I'm under a beautiful tree that is very clear that it's winter, and it's winter. Unfortunately, most people's mindsets is that Christmas, New Year, winter, and hey, you know, where the fuck's spring, summer? And Amber's only just learning why she is not in line with my schedule. And if anybody understands why someone like me has to live to a particular schedule, I like having a schedule. I know what I love knowing what time I'm going swimming and packing up my kids' bags for it. I love knowing what time I'm going to do this and doing that. At the moment, predominantly, we're heading to London. This is all about Elijah's London School of Hip Hop. I've got to pay the websites in the next day or two. Elijah has 100%. I thought he'd given in and wanted to go to state school. And he went, really, Mum? He said, all I want to maybe do is change it to the London School Studio or something like that. But no, it's the London School of Hip Hop. So he wants to do that. Fuck knows what Dean's doing, because he hasn't been out and done any stencil work. And he's here, and I don't know if he's just reading their website or whether he's implementing people behind this website. But at the end of the day, people message them, so they say, and they say, oh, thank you for sending us all your love and support for completely trying to trash, this wonderful fucking woman, which I actually am. I'm actually pretty quite cool, really. I just keep people at a distance because I haven't got the foundations of my own life. I haven't got time for people to come for coffee. I haven't got time to take time out and go sit and have lunch with someone and go shopping. I haven't got the budget for it either. I haven't got the time to go out on a Friday night with Dean and sit down and have a social with people. We haven't got time at the moment to go out because we're nowhere near where we need to be. There's 2 little boys up there, and then there's 2 kids, one turning 13, one turning 12. And then I've got 2 other children, 2 boys, 2 adults, 2 grown men who are my children, who I love, always will be, forever forwards, forever backwards. I speak to Daniel regularly. Liam has got some issues going on with me because of my relationship with Dean, and we will deal with that. Nobody has given Dean a chance. Do you know what? Nobody, not my mum, not my dad, not Liam, not Daniel, not my personal friends have said, well done, the fuck of you, getting her off Downing Street. How did you do it? Even if he did end up getting arrested and I ended up busting the prison to get him out, literally. As people know, I did. Love that man up there to absolute bits. Love my boys up there. Love my big boys. Love my kids. I love all of them. But this is never going to work for me. It doesn't matter what I do. I have 6 kids. And then people control me and go, oh, you've got 6 kids and you've passed on EDS to them. Well, hang on a minute. I've had this argument already about AIDS and whether children, and this is what I've been trying to tell you about DNA and them wanting to purify us all and make sure we've got a perfect world and, we don't have all of these diseases. And no, I don't want another baby to bring it in. But like I said, I wasn't diagnosed with the first 2. It was fucking horrendous with my maternity and midwifery and social with the second 2, as you clearly fucking know. And it's been a fucking bane in the arse to the point that I was left on the hemorrhaging 4 weeks early. I write about it. You all read it. But at the moment, people just want to throw darts and arrows. And it's like, it says more about these people. I choose to build my own company, but I wouldn't have people like that in my company. Why? If I've got a fireside going on, right, and I've got people in my presence, in my home, on my land, around my children, I have to know that I can trust those people. And not only that, I have people that I spend my time with who are homeless, who live on the streets, people who've got trauma, people who've got cerebral palsy, people who are Down syndrome, people who have arms and legs missing, people who are very sensitive, and people who are very shy, and people who are very traumatized, yeah? And I don't need backstabbing fucking cunts in my life that 1, want to try and shag my husband, 2, want to try and rape and abuse my kids, 3, want to fucking hit my dog or nick it, 4, want to bring trash and shit around my family. I've already had somebody fucking, use coke in front of me, and it was only because I saw it on the front of their fucking nose. And I said, have you just been and done a line? It was like, yeah. They haven't spoken to me since, mate, because I know exactly how I feel, exactly what I do. Have you got the dog coming out? No, hang on. I might have to move because I think there's a dog coming out. Grab your ball, Missy. Head up here. Come on. What was I saying? Where was I? I just wanted to give my neighbours some space just in case they were bringing their dogs out. Have you got the dogs coming out with you? No. Alright, so I was just going to move just in case you're bringing dogs out for a bit. I've got another neighbour that's just coming out, who's the one with cancer, who I've ended up, saying about RSPCA. And it's like when, you're dealing with suspicion, if you've had 20 people at your house for a party, yeah, and your engagement ring's gone missing from your bathroom sink, or you're washing up and you know full well that you left it on the side, and there was 20 people in your house, you've got to sit there and declare who you know would definitely not even pick it up. And if they did, they would go, love of you, your engagement ring's there. And then you've got to go around and think, who the fuck? First thing you would encounter is, well, did anyone bring anyone that I didn't know? So that means someone that you don't even know is becoming a suspect before you've even got to know them. It's horrible. It's not a nice situation to be in. But at the end of the day, if it's Lisa, it doesn't bother me so much unless it's to do with the whole paedophilia thing, child pornography thing. But if it's somebody else, I've even thought today whether it's the people from Family Army, the first ever people that I met, because it seems to be that as soon as I've said that someone's made themselves a suspect because of the comments that they've made, a whole other section of the network comes up, and it's all the same people, which goes back to Stella something, but she doesn't use her real name. And they were the first people who showed me how to appeal when my appeal was refused, because I was left on my own while she went to London. And she did give me the opportunity to skip and go to London with her. I didn't really get all this train hopping stuff back then, and I probably should have gone. But I wasn't the sort of person that could have done that back then. It was her that then jumped on the train, went to London, tried to sort her stuff out. But this is another mum who didn't win, who didn't have her kids back, who's ran to have another child. I won't talk about her because she's not giving me any shit. But it's that sort of network that it's all about. And it was all over Belinda McKenzie and all that sort of stuff. These people are not in my neighbourhood. They're not my personal friends. They're not people that I make arrangements with. So anyway, tomorrow, D-Day, I just got to work out what time I've got to be there. And then that's Elijah. That's why I've got to move as well. That's Elijah and Shiloh. And it's like, no. I need to be able to get up, dance, play music. Dean needs to be able to MC, DJ, bounce around the house. Liam bounces around the house. I need a house that can be full of noise, mate. Full of laughter. Full of fucking laughter. You can't even laugh in a place like this. You can't even have laughter coming out your windows, mate. And dare you have any noise, you go, woo, 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 please, woo, 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 systematic, woo, woo, woo. Anyway, knock, knock. Who's at the door? It's me.